Hello and welcome back to my writing vlog series. This is writing vlog number 22. I have been working on the Project Katrina and it's going okay. I haven't really done much with it or anything at all actually since I filmed the last writing vlog. I am filming this one on the 22nd of October, and that means that I'm basically only doing one or recording one writing vlog a week. I would like to do two a week so I can get a bit ahead of the schedule instead of filming a writing vlog in the week before it goes up. So I have a bit more bigger buffer to do other things and not having to do a writing vlog and preparing that and basically having to record and edit and do other stuff with the video in the week before it has to be ready. So I'm working on this project and I am at chapter 5. In the previous writing vlog I edited chapter 4 and I think it's better that way. Chapter 5 needs bigger edits as well, but I basically think I need to add a scene. I'd like to think that I can keep both meetings in the chapter. I haven't really figured out how to go about doing it, because there's a meeting where Katrina is with 3 men and they discuss an important matter, but then I have an idea for another meeting where this strange woman is going to be present as well. And this woman is someone that we have already met because I added something to one of the previous chapters. I didn't really edit that much about it. I didn't add her in. I just stated who she is and I gave her a name, and then we get to meet her. Or I actually think it's in chapter 5. I worked a bit on it in the writing vlog 2 videos ago, and I basically added a bit of dialogue. I added some dialogue in when they're riding the elevator up to their floor, and this woman, I named her Dinah, and she's going to be returning in the story, and I'm wondering if I can add a second scene where they have a meeting, or whether I should adjust the meeting that I already have so she's taking part in that as well. But I don't know how to actually go about doing that. But I hope that I can either fix, or not fix, but adjust the meeting scene that's already there, or add another one. Maybe it will be too much if I have 2 meetings in the same chapter, or in 2 chapters that are back to back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it, but in my notes I have just written that keep chapter 4 from the old version. So chapter 4 is going to be the new chapter 5, but maybe add something to it. Maybe add that Katrina goes to a meeting where a fashionable and self-confident woman gives a presentation. She's going to be important, but I think I actually got an idea for this chapter before I started recording this, and it's about this woman. It's not dependent on whether I adjust the existing meeting scene or I write a new one, but at the meeting where this woman takes place, I plan on including something that makes Katrina think about her own mother and how she misses her, and that will propel her into the next chapter that I will write a completely new version of, or not a version, it's completely different chapters. So the only thing that the next chapter will have in common is the chapter number. What happens in it will be completely different. The old chapter 5, which would have been chapter 6 in this version if I kept it, it's I have written sometime later. Katrina prepares for a big meeting. There's also a robbery at Katrina's house. Later on, it turns out that it's espionage. I have, I have written this as a very brief summary of that chapter, but I will trash that chapter completely and write something else. And then the chapter that I will have instead of that is that Katrina seeks out her family because she misses them, and it makes sense. And I want this Dinah character to remind Katrina of her own family, and that makes her go on into this next part of the story. But first, I have to work on chapter 5, and I hope that I will be able to fix it in terms of the bigger edits, the big picture edits that I want to do. The old chapter 4, which would have been chapter 5, is just Katrina goes to work for the first time. Katrina wants to live her life in the best way that she knows how, but she struggles to find her footing in this new situation. And I think instead of her just going to work and meeting her co-workers and attending a meeting and mundane things like that, I have to deepen it somehow. And one way that I can do that is by including this character that we met earlier, so that we get to know her better, but also to make Katrina think about her situation and how she wants to do something about it. I'll get to work on this, and then I hope I can get back to you and tell you that yes, I fixed it. So we will see what the solution for this big picture edit will be. Maybe it's not the big picture, but it's big enough that I think it changes the story in a fundamental way. But yes, I will get to work on it and then get back to you. Welcome back, or welcome back to me. It's later in the day, and just like in the previous writing vlog, it has become early evening now. I have been working on this for maybe an hour or so, I'm not sure. I don't know if I have fixed the chapter per se. I basically let the chapter be as it was when I edited it in the writing vlog 2 writing vlogs ago. So I edited smaller things instead of looking at the big picture edits, but I think the chapter is better because of that. And in terms of introducing this character, Dinah, again in the story, I have added something, and I just made a chapter break and then I added a lot of words to that. But I think that the total number of words I added to this existing chapter is so long, or there are so many words that it can be its own chapter, but I won't make an extra chapter at this point. I just leave it at the chapter break, and then I have made a note above it beside the 3 stars that indicate the chapter break that I could make, or I want to make a new chapter there. I don't want to add additional chapter numbers at this stage, because the different chapter numbers will just confuse me more instead of help me when I look at the old versus new outline. So what I did was that I added a whole new scene, and it's a new chapter. After the chapter break, I have a sentence that goes something like, several hours later, Katrina is sweating like a pig in a sauna. I think that's a good way of opening that chapter. So it's clear to the reader that it's later in the day, and that the main character is working hard on something or trying to figure something out, and it makes her nervous. She's sweating, and then it's kind of like summing up what she has been doing since the meeting in the morning. And then someone comes over and comments on how Katrina coughs. She breathes in a very hectic way because she's panicking and trying to find out what she can do about this situation that she's in, and she's trying to find something on the work computer, but she can't find anything, and panicking and sweating and then coughing. She reacts to this, and then someone comes over to her and says, "Oh, I don't hope that what you've got is contagious." And then this leads into this scene where the main character is talking to Dinah, and they talk while they walk to this office, the meeting room that they're going to at the workplace. So we meet her again, and I added something, or all of it was added, but I stated something about Dinah and how she moves and talks and how she reminds Katrina of her own mother. And I also state something that if she can't go back and see her own mom, then this Dinah character is an acceptable substitution for that. So, but all of this, she bonds with Dinah, and I also mentioned that she's married, and I also mentioned that she has 3 kids, and Katrina actually slips up in this chapter and says something that reveals something quite important to the reader, but the other character doesn't get what she's talking about. Dinah just thinks that it was a slip up or something funny that she says. She doesn't think much about that, so she didn't really reveal anything after all. I have plans for this Dinah character and the main character, and they're going to meet again later. And I think it was a good thing that I added this chapter, because it deepens the relationship between the main character and Dinah, and we're going to meet her later. Maybe she's not the main side character, or I don't know if you could call her a main character as well, but it's not seen from her perspective. One of her sons is actually a character that we're going to meet later, and he's also the character that I managed to weave in a previous chapter. And so it will be a shock or a surprise to Katrina when she actually meets Dinah's family, because she has seen these people before. And so I won't go into detail with that, because I don't want to spoil the plot, the basic plot of this story. I want that to be a surprise as much as I can. This chapter, this new part to the story that I added, ends with Katrina thinking about her parents and wanting to go back. And then I state something like that she has a plan, that she's going to go back, and who can stop her, and she doesn't want anyone to stop her. So that will lead up to the next chapter. This meeting was about Dinah presenting a project, or I don't know what it's called, but she's presenting something, a big potential build, some kind of building that they can make for someone or something, or I'm not sure, that's not important. But Dinah presents something, and she aspires for a higher or better position at the company, and I think that basically she wants the job that Katrina has. Katrina has the final say in some things, and her boss relies on her input in order to either say go or no go to a project. And Katrina doesn't really know that much about architecture and stuff like that, and so she just okays the project and says, oh, there's no problems with this, and we can go ahead with the project. And the boss is happy, and yes, that's good, then we can go out and celebrate. And then they're going to go to a bar that's close by to get a few drinks or something, even though it's a working day. And they go out to have something to drink and to have fun and celebrate that they're going forward with the project. But it might not be a big deal to the story, but I wanted to include something to make them move, to get them out of the room again. And Katrina actually just wants to go home, but because she likes Dinah and she says that she's going to this bar to celebrate with the others, Katrina wants to come along. So, but I won't write anything about that. It's just something that I skip because that's not the important part that's going to happen next in the story. So yes, that's basically what I've been doing today, working on this project. And instead of deleting stuff, I have added more words, but I hope that's okay. I'm going to add more chapters because I have entire chapters that I will write from the ground up or from scratch or whatever you say. But yes, this novel might end up quite long. At the moment, it's at 76,186 words. It's quite a lot, and I have more chapters I need to add. I have removed entire chapters and just written a brief summary or outline for the chapter that I intend to write, so it will become a lot longer. Maybe I should delete the meeting that I have in this chapter that I've been working on. I think that I could just describe how she gets up and gets ready for work, and she comes in and the boss is displeased because she's late, and then maybe I can just skip that meeting. But a lot of it is leading up to that meeting, so if I take out the meeting, then I have to take out more as well. But I will figure that out. I think that it's something that I can easily fix. Maybe it's something that I should handle or manage right in this phase of the project. But I'm looking at big picture stuff, and if it's just a question of removing a scene and then making a few tweaks to make it flow with the rest, then that's all right. If the novel ends up too long, then then that might be something I want to take out. But I want the readers to meet her boss, this Mr. Jackson, as well, and their dynamic relationship, and how the work relationship is, or how her work situation is. It's it might not be that important, but I'm not quite sure if I should take out the first meeting instead of replacing it or adding Dinah to that meeting. I added an entire new chapter. So maybe that wasn't the best choice, but it is what it is at this moment, and then I can hopefully tweak it and maybe take out something later on. But yes, that's it for this writing vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will watch the next one. Until then, take care. Thank you for watching.